Welcome back for one final recording before we go into hard mode here in Terraria. And in this one, I'm going to be setting up to fight Skeletron. So the first thing I want to do is I actually want to go out a little bit away from here, and I'm going to create a level surface for me to fight him on. Now, like most bosses, the first time you fight him, it's a really good idea to have a completely level surface with a couple of different layers that you can jump up and jump down to. Skeletron in particular, his rotating skull attack is just really nasty. It can, kill you really, really fast. So I want to have a lot of distance that I can run from him, and I'm going to accomplish that by clearing out that surface to a level area. Then taking my platforms on the smart cursor here, and I can just hold it out a little bit in front of me and run along and make a little path here. That way, as soon as I spawn him, I can run down to this platform, and I have a nice flat area that I can run on. You don't want it to be, you don't want there to be too many gaps and places where you can fall down or jump up, because that'll screw up the extra bonus speed that you get from your Hermes boots, or in my case the Frostbark boots. And again, with Skeletron, his skull attack, he can pursue you from really far away. So I'm just gonna give myself a bunch of space to run. This is probably overkill, but better safe than sorry. I'd rather beat him than die to him, basically. So I want to give myself a lot of space to run. Now, some folks recommend that you do, towards the end of the platform, you build a staircase up, like so, or did that the wrong way. But recommend that you build a staircase up, basically like this. Screwed it up again. Moving a little bit too fast there. But basically a little higher than this, so you can run up and then jump off the edge like that. I do a different approach. I would rather do 3 stages worth of platforms, because his spinning skull attack, when he flies at you in circles, and he can do almost 100 damage with that. One way to avoid it is to grapple into these platforms here. If he gets right on top of you while he's spinning, he can basically stun lock you to the point where you can't get away. And if you're trapped in that, there's a very good chance that it'll kill you. So I want to have 3 levels of platforms, so that way if he stuns me at any particular point, I can either grapple down to a lower or preferably higher level of platform to get away from him. And I'm going to have this row of platforms extend out all the way as far as the other one. And we may not actually fight him this night in particular, because I want to set this up with torches along the whole way so that I can see everywhere in the arena where I'm going to be fighting him. And it's going to be nighttime pretty soon, and I don't really want to waste any of the time that I get to fight him, because as you may or may not know, if it gets to the end of the night and you haven't yet beaten Skeletron, he basically acts the same as a dungeon guardian. He'll just do the spin attack and fly at you, and he'll take 1 damage from all your attacks. And if he hits you, you pretty much die instantly. And I don't really want that to happen. I'd rather have the full nighttime to fight him with, just so I have plenty of extra time to fight him. So we're going to spend this night setting up the torches and setting up the battle arena, and then we're going to spend probably the next night fighting him. I don't know, if I get it done, I guess by maybe 9:30 or 10 o'clock p.m. on the in-game timer, then maybe I'll fight him tonight. But I'm probably not going to. Right now I'm just going through the preparations, and again, you don't really need to do this, I guess. If you're like super good, you can fight them on the ground. But to be honest, I'm not that good, and I find it really helpful to have this area where I can grapple away from him and jump up in between the platforms. So, boom, we've got our torches set up on the top there. And then we're going to set up along the middle here. And again, this might be overkill. This might be a little bit more space than I absolutely need to fight him. But better safe than sorry. It's kind of frustrating when you die to Skeletron, because then you've got to wait, another 12 minutes to try and fight him again. He's not one of those bosses that you can fight back to back. It's a little nicer than the Eye of Cthulhu or the Eater of Worlds, I guess. Oop, my dash wasn't working there. My keyboard must have been stuck. It's a little nicer than like the Eater of Worlds or the Eye of Cthulhu, and that you don't have to farm up a bunch of items to summon him again. But I'd still rather only like fight him one time and get it over with, and not die to him a bunch of times. So another thing I'm going to do to make this battle a bit easier is you can set up these campfires. And you wait till you go out of range of one. You can see it go away on the top there, and then that's how you know to space them out to put down another one. So you can't hang heart lanterns from platforms, so I'm going to put a little wooden block down at the bottom there. Oh, I didn't want one right there. I was trying to switch to my sword and hit that demon eye. And then from this little block right here, we can hang a heart lantern. And this way, everywhere that we are in the battle arena, we're going to have some extra life regeneration. It's also a pretty good idea to eat something for the well-fed buff, and drink some potions before you fight them, but I don't really think we'll need that. And just for added insurance, I put a very simple, very basic house that we can destroy really fast once we're done. And I told my nurse to move in here. Now I've got doors on either side that I want to leave opened up, and a platform in the top. So it's always super easy for me to get in here if I need some emergency healing. And the last thing I'm going to do, again, even though we don't really need this, is I'm going to put down an ammo box and a sharpening station. I'll put the sharpening station up here because the buff from it lasts for a good few minutes. 9 minutes of increased armor penetration for our melee weapons. And again, you don't really need that. It's just since I had the items, really want to, stress the importance of using like every buff that you can in this fight. And with all those basics set up, we are more or less ready to fight Skeletron. Quick note on equipment before we do this. Both the Shield of Cthulhu is really helpful for the extra armor and for the dash attack. Anytime Skeletron's hands hit you, it'll interrupt your increased movement speed from your Hermes boots or Frostbark boots or Lightning boots or whichever kind of boots you have. So the Shield of Cthulhu allows you to double tap one direction and then hold that direction down to go ahead and start running really fast again. You don't have to spend the time charging up like you normally do. You want probably at least like a cloud in a balloon, or better yet, like a horseshoe balloon or these bundles of balloons for extra jumps, so you can always jump over Skeletron when he's spinning. This will allow you to avoid his spinning head attack just a lot easier, and to get between these platforms. It's important as well to have a grappling hook equipped. Just like I was mentioning earlier, if his spinning attack stun locks you in place, you can select either above or below you and quickly press E to grapple a beam and just get out of the way of it. The Worm Scarf is super helpful because his spinning attack can do like 80 or 100 damage to you depending on just different factors. I think like later on in the fight or like when his hands get destroyed, he starts to do more damage with the spinning head attack, and having that 17% increase damage reduction is really really helpful. And you'll notice that all of our accessories have the warding prefix, which gives you 20 extra armor, so all of his attacks will do 20 less damage to you on top of the armor that you get just from having the Molten Armor set. It's not really necessary that everything has warding, but it is really helpful. And again, just if you want to go for some added bonuses, I find it's easiest to take out his hands with a melee weapon, like my Fiery Greatsword here, and then to take out his head at the end of the fight with a bow or something like the Mega Shark. Just like with the Eye of Cthulhu fight, I've got these Frostburn arrows. Skeletron is not immune to the Frostburn debuff, so they will make him take damage over time once you start hitting him with those. And see if there's anything else that I'm forgetting. Yeah. So, and it can also be really, really helpful to use some potions for the fight. I'm not going to for this fight because I don't think I'm going to need them. But the regeneration potion is super helpful. Also increases your life regeneration along with the campfires and the heart lanterns, which just tends to be important in any like long duration boss fight because they've got a lot more health than you, and you can only heal every minute or so. Swiftness potion to help you get away from his spinning head attack and to maneuver around the battlefield. It's also really helpful. Iron Skin is also super, super helpful. If I use the Iron Skin potion as well, my defense would be 55 for 55 less damage on every attack that he does to me, which helps. I can't stress how much that helps. And the Archery potion to help end the fight for increased arrow speed and damage when you're shooting his skull at the end. Again, the longer the fight stretches on, the more likely you are to lose. So generally, we want to avoid that. Again, I'm not going to use these potions, but these are probably the best ones to bring with you, aside from the Endurance potion, which would give an extra 10% damage reduction on top of this Worm Scarf. So I think we've got enough time to fight him tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and start up the fight. Alright, so immediately we're getting hit by his hands there. And like I said, I just think it's easiest to take out his hands with a melee weapon like this. I'm not so worried about damage in the beginning, but oh, there we go. I wanted to get away from him for a second there because I knew he'd be starting the spinning attack soon. Oh, that hurts a lot. But because we've got so much armor, we're not actually too worried about it just now. Alright, so you can't really hurt his head too... Oh. Woo! You see that grapple away from him there? And he... Oh, no. I hit the button in the top. I hit the button that turns it from, like, maximized to, like, windowed mode. For a second there, I couldn't do anything in the game. You probably can't tell in the recording since it's just recording my game screen, not my computer screen. But for a second there, that was really hairy. So I'm going to go ahead and use a potion just to, like, we're not super low health right now, but, you know, sometimes you want to use it when you're not super, super low health just to reset the timer. And you can tell, actually, with all this armor, this fight's not actually so bad so far. I'm at, actually, a lot of health. He's only doing, like, 5 or 6 damage to me with his hands, which is why I can sit here and just kind of take the damage from them and destroy them with the Greatsword. No. Use my B mount to avoid the falling damage. And actually, at this point in the fight, because we still don't have the healing potion off the cooldown just yet. Oh, no. We're going to talk to the nurse and heal up there to help out. Oh, no, this is bad. Oh, it's a really good thing that we healed from the nurse right there. Alright. Oh, this is bad. I'm doing really bad in this fight. I may have mentioned before that, alright, so this part's actually not so bad. Because when he's spinning like that, he's not firing skulls out at you, and you can hit him with arrows. So, we really want to avoid being close to his head, if at all possible, because that spinning attack will really stun lock you bad. Oh my gosh. Alright, but fortunately it leaves him pretty vulnerable. So at this point, the fight's not actually so hard, as long as we don't get stun locked again, like that. Alright, so we double tap the dash to get away, and we're running away from him. Alright. And you want to put some distance in between you and him when he's firing out these little skulls. We're really going to do what we can to end this fight quickly. Whew. You can see why I've got all these platforms set up. So I'll drink a healing potion now, and if I drop below 200 health again, that's when I'm going to go run back to the nurse. I don't want to go into that room this time because he had just started his spinning attack, so he really would have been able to follow me in there and hurt me a lot. It's really hard to get away from him in a closed-in setting like that. And I don't want to run back to the nurse. I didn't want to run back to the nurse just there because I knew he was just about to start his spinning attack. The best time to go to the nurse is right after he's finished it. Oh my gosh, click on her. Okay, there we go. And we pretty much got this fight in the bag, I'd say. He's going to start moving faster, but he's already down to about half his health. We still got plenty of potions left, and as you can see, there hasn't really come a point where we've come too close to dying. Alright. He's moving around faster. He's firing those things faster, and that's pretty bad. Alright, so again, we don't want to go to the nurse just... Oh, no, 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 you don't. I'm having a lot of trouble getting my speed up to work. Oh, that was really close, because he's just about to hit me with that skull, and 2 more of those, and I would have died. Like I said, the lag from doing the recording actually does make stuff like this really hard. Those potions might have been helpful. No, no, no. We are jumping away from the Skull of Doom. Oh. I had to heal several times to full during this fight. If that nurse wasn't there, I'd probably be dead. I would certainly be dead. Alright, but as you can see, he's almost dead too. So we are pretty close to the end here. I think the next time he goes in for his spinning attack, I'm going to get him. Yep. And that's the end of Skeletron. So that was a really hairy fight. It was a lot harder than it needed to be because I was having a lot of trouble controlling my guy here, and the dash attack from the Shield of Cthulhu wasn't working properly every time because of the input lag. But yeah, that's the fight in a nutshell. Ideally, if you do it better than I did there, you shouldn't have to heal at the nurse at all. If you can avoid his as long as you can avoid his spinning head attacks and do a little bit better at dodging the skulls, you should be a lot safer. But now the dungeon in this world is free to be entered. I can go and just very easily take down this little setup here because it doesn't look all that great in the world, and we won't need it anymore, and move the nurse back home. And that's the end of it. Sorry, I probably should have stopped this recording a second ago, but my blood's still pumping a little bit. That was an intense fight. I almost died a good couple of times. That would have been kind of embarrassing after doing all this setup and all this talking. But yeah, I hope that helps, and hope that gives you some ideas of how to fight Skeletron. He is much harder than the other pre-hard mode bosses, and I can't wait to give the Wall of Flesh a shot. But